Hi guys, I am back to talk to you about cutting, or self-mutilation as it's referred to. My views on it, on why people do it. One is the main stereotype of attention. And I say stereotype because of the whole emo phase that everyone secretly went through with, like, the black hair, the icons on the Zanga, you come home and it's like razor blades and blood and the words pain everywhere. That whole thing where cutting was the cool thing to do, or maybe just, people did it but didn't really talk about it. But it was known, it was out there. And it's not always a stereotype that people do it for attention. Some people do because they don't get the attention that they need, or they don't feel loved, or something along those lines. Another is because they like the way that it feels in some weird, I don't want to say kinky because that's like in a sexual way, which no judgments there. But anyway, they like the way that it feels. It feels good to them. Another reason is because people feel like they're punishing themselves for some reason. They did something physically, that they did something that they're punishing themselves for, or it's a psychological thing that they feel like they need punishment, pretty much. Another is because some people don't feel anything, they're numb, and they would like a feeling to possess them. And cutting brings many feelings. One is, pain. Another is maybe it's a coping mechanism for people that have gone through something, and maybe the blood symbolizes their feelings, that are exuding their body, that they're feeling bad feelings they don't want anymore, something along those lines. If you've never read the book A Bright Red Scream, do, if you are interested in reading up on cutting. I don't remember who it's by, but if you Google A Bright Red Scream, I'm pretty sure that you'll find it. It goes along the lines with the psychological and emotional aspects of why people cut. It's full of stories of people who have severe cutting disorders. A lot come from broken homes, or they suffered child abuse or sexual abuse or something along those lines in their lifetime. And there's also the part where psychologists or psychiatrists write in, their diagnosis and their thoughts on the situation in general. And if you're not used to reading a book on psychology or anything like that, it'll probably be more on maybe some of it the boring or difficult side to read. I skipped through a little bit of it because some of it I had to Google, because I've never taken a psychology class, so it was a little above my scale of being able to understand some of the stuff they were talking about, because it was very in-depth. But one thing they had mentioned a lot was dissociative disorder, which is kind of where you go outside yourself. It's not like an out-of-body experience, I guess maybe that's what you could describe it as, but where if you're going through something tragic or just something very, very intense in general, you kind of go outside yourself and almost watch, if I want to say, but you don't really admit that it's happening to you. I guess in some extreme cases, it's where you almost maybe black out, and you just don't really remember. Almost like you're denying yourself parts of your life that have happened because you don't want to remember them for some reason, or you don't want to acknowledge that they even took place in your specific life. But very good book to read if you're interested. I can specifically remember the day that I started cutting. I was watching the movie The Gift, which is a very good but weird movie about murder and psychic people and whatever. But I was in a calm state, I guess you could say. There wasn't really anything, I don't think, wrong. I was very calm, neutral, kind of like the water when there's no ripples. It was just like glass. It was just there. And I just got it in my head to walk upstairs and in the bathroom and find something sharp and slash away at my arms. Like I hacked both of my forearms up to shreds. If I were to see someone with those marks on them today, I would just be in awe because it was so horrific. Anyone who does something to that extent to themselves is either A, a crazy person, or B, they are definitely wanting attention, which was probably both back then. But my mom saw them. I was sent to many counselors because I was not ready to accept the help that I needed back then. So nothing really came from going to see counselors. I stopped for a while on a promise to my mother just to stop going to counseling. But I started again, and it started to feel good to me because I felt like I needed to be punished for some reason. I don't really know why. And it started to feel good. I laid in bed afterwards and held my arms, and that burn felt good to me. I don't know why. Back when I started, my friend had saw what I was doing to myself and wanted to talk to me about it. He said, if you don't want people to see them, cut on your upper thighs or somewhere where there's clothes. I was like, oh, that's good advice. He has stupid advice. This is the dumbest advice you could ever get. So I cut up my upper thighs. And of course, I wore skirts to school. I remember one day I was just walking in the hallway, just keep pulling my skirt down because I was so paranoid about people seeing it. There's no good explanation for why there's cuts there. I remember I sat down in my computer class. Mr. Willett, Corey Willett's dad, sat down in his computer class, and there was nothing I could do to prevent my skirt from going up and showing those scars, and it just paranoid the crap out of me. One of my basketball games, I had fainted or blacked out or something wrong had happened, and I was in the emergency room, and my basketball shorts weren't long enough to cover them. I was like half in and out of consciousness, and I could hear the nurse and my friend's mom talking, and they were, they saw the scars. They were like, oh, I wonder, maybe she rolled around a barbed wire fence or something like that. What planet do we live on when 13-year-old girls roll around in barbed wire? Like, could someone explain that to me? I don't really know how that makes sense. Anyway, very embarrassing. Having scars on your body. There's so many lies that you can tell until you run out of lies and it's obvious what's happening, what's going on. It is a coping mechanism, but it's a bad one. Some scars stay on your body forever and you have them, and some do fade, but it's not, like an eating disorder, it's not worth it. It's a sick thing. I mean, you are ripping your body apart because it makes you feel good, maybe even makes you feel worse. I don't know, but do talk about some reasons you guys think people cut. If you are comfortable enough with sharing someone, a story that or you yourself cut, maybe explain why, something that you're going through. Just have a good old conversation, deep thought. So I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.